Hey there. There you are, my steadfast companion. I thought I might hear your footsteps echo faintly down the old stone path, softened by moss and mist. Just as the tide began its hush below, you've arrived at the perfect hour, between the breath of the sea and the sigh of the springs. The pools are quiet tonight. Come, sit here beside me. The stone beneath us has been warmed by sun that long since slipped behind the cliffs. Even now it holds the memory of daylight, not hot, no, just enough to remind the skin that warmth lives in quiet places. If you press your hand down beside mine, you'll feel it, the gentlest kind of heat, the kind that lingers out of kindness. The air here smells of salt and earth. There's a sweetness too, faint and mineral, like old rain touching dry stone. The steam rises from the water in ribbons, slow and pale, drifting upward like the last thoughts before sleep. It curls around your shoulders as though the night itself is leaning close, asking you to rest. No rush, my friend. There's room enough for both of us on this old ledge. The sea is whispering just beyond the rocks below, a slow, patient rhythm, brushing the cliffside like a lullaby with no beginning and no end. Sometimes, if you listen long enough, it feels less like sound and more like breath, as though the world itself is asleep, and we are only borrowing its stillness. The water here is always warm, not from fire, but from the deep heart of the land. They say these springs have run since before the first abbey bells were cast, before even the hill folk carved their runes in the salt caves. I don't know if that's true. But it feels ancient, the way the steam sighs, the way the stone accepts you without question. There is wisdom in things that endure without changing. Look there. See how the moon glimmers in the surface. It's not quite silver tonight, more like soft pewter, with a halo of pale blue. The mist catches its glow in little flecks like stars that have fallen too low and forgotten how to return. I've watched many moons rise from this place. They always seem slower here, as though they too are content to linger. You can let your shoulders drop, if you haven't already. There's no need to hold yourself upright here, not among the old stones and quiet waters. This is a place that doesn't ask anything of you, only that you be here, only that you breathe. I often wonder who built these pools, whether it was monks with careful hands or healers who knew the secrets of the sea. There's a serenity carved into every curve of stone, as if someone long ago wanted others to feel welcome, long after they were gone, and here we are, held in the arms of their intent, quiet, cared for. Even the gulls have gone to sleep, tucked into the crevices above. No cries, no circling wings tonight, just the breeze, low and soft, as it plays across the water and lifts the edge of my cloak. It smells of kelp and memory. I find I rather like that. Your presence brings a hush that settles deeper than silence. It's as if the very springs lean in to listen when you arrive. You don't have to say anything. Of course, just being here is enough. Your nearness feels like a gentle hand on the back, steadying, without pressing, familiar, without weight. I am grateful for it. We could sit here for hours and let the night drift past us like the tide. There's no hurry, no task, only this breath, and then the next. Time has loosened its hold on this place. It forgets to move forward here, or perhaps it chooses not to. So rest your legs, lean back, if you wish. The stone wall behind us is smoother than it looks, worn down by decades of resting souls. I've left my own shape in it, I'm sure. And now, perhaps yours will join mine, tucked into the memory of this quiet sanctuary. Let the stillness fold around you, dear one. You've come just in time, thinkers. And you are welcome here. It's strange, you know. I must have walked this cliff path a dozen times in my younger years, always with purpose, always onward, and yet somehow I never truly saw it, not like this, not the way I see it now, resting here beside you, with the breath of the springs rising like a prayer to the stars. I remember passing it once, the stone pools tucked into the rock, steam curling like fingers up toward the ledges. I think I was delivering a message then, or maybe returning from one. The road was always just a thread beneath my boots, winding from one duty to the next. I gave the place a glance, I think, but I didn't stop, never even slowed. It wasn't that I wasn't curious. I was simply caught in a rhythm that didn't allow for stillness. The sort of pace that carries you like a river in flood. Fast, loud, determined to arrive somewhere, though never quite sure where the heart meant to go. That need to keep going. That habit of moving before you've even heard what the silence might want to say. But now I move differently. Now I move only when something inside me stirs, not from duty but from quiet invitation. And this place invites stillness. When I first let myself settle here, truly settle, I didn't expect what followed. The way my shoulders lowered without me telling them to, the way the air felt heavier but not burdensome, more like a cloak being placed over my back, woven of salt and warmth, and something older still. My knees, worn from years of iron and stone, began to sigh in the water, a soft kind of sigh. The sort that doesn't need words. I had never realized how loud I had become. Not my voice. No, not that, but everything else. The clatter of armor, the insistence of thought, the weight of memory. And then, here I was, bare-skinned beneath the stars, letting the sea's hush replace all of it. I no longer wear my armor, not even for ceremony. There comes a time when you understand that protection isn't always about steel. Sometimes it's about knowing where to rest, and who to rest with, and choosing peace, even when no one is watching. You've never asked what I carry. That's kind of you, but if you had, I'd tell you this. Not much these days. A satchel with a few herbs, a carved comb, a bit of worn parchment I never seem to write on. My blade, I left it behind some time ago. It was never meant to be held forever. Some things serve their purpose and then must be set down, so the hands can open to gentler tasks. I used to think purpose had to be earned through effort, measured in deeds, signed in blood, etched in the telling. But here, in this stillness, I've learned another truth. Sometimes your purpose is simply to witness, to listen, to sit beside another soul and let the world be what it is, without reaching to fix or change it. You help me do that, you know. You sitting there beside me, breathing at your own pace. No expectation, no need to fill the space, just presence. It's a rare gift and I don't take it lightly. The salt in this water, it does something, not just to the joints, though the relief is real, but something deeper, as though it pulls old grief from the bones and lets it dissolve, grain by grain. There are stories in salt, I think. Stories of tears shed long ago, of seas crossed, of bread shared in silence. I feel them here. Not as burdens, but as companions. Sometimes, when I close my eyes in these waters, I dream without dreaming. Not visions exactly, more like memories returning in different clothes. A face I once knew but older, a path I never walked, and yet recognize. There is something sacred in that, as though the springs remember more than just heat, as though they remember time itself. And the sound beneath the rock, have you noticed it? That low thrum. It's not quite the sea, not quite the springs, but something in between, like the earth humming to itself in a voice too old to name. I like to think it's the heartbeat of the land, slow, patient, never hurried, never harsh. It reminds me how to breathe. There were years when I breathed too shallow, always bracing, always ready. A knight must be ready, or so we're taught. Ready for command, ready for danger, ready to carry others. And yet no one ever taught us how to exhale, how to let the day go, how to rest. But I'm learning now. With you here, I'm learning. And I want you to know, you don't need to carry anything for me. You don't need to be anyone other than who you are. Your presence is enough. If I could offer one small truth I've earned along the way, one I'd pass into your palm like a river stone, it would be this: peace is not a prize for the worthy. It is a place we return to, a birthright, and like these pools, it waits patiently, asking nothing but that we sit with it a while. So,